he is 100% worth it.
He takes it to another level. Oh my God, I just fell in love with it.
Thanks so much, Jay.
Blew my mind. And it worked. I wanted to buy my thing.
Jay is, I would say, the Yoda of sales calls, man.
Just talking to Jay, he was so good at just taking what it is, seeing the opportunity and the value and the real reason we are making it.
Talk to Jay, because he got it. He can definitely help you out.
Talk to Jay. You're going to get a lot. You're going to gain a lot.
I would absolutely recommend him for any position that you have.
Jay's definitely the guy.
Give him the chance, give him the opportunity. You won't regret it.
He's good at what he does, so I highly recommend him, and I would book him before he is fully booked out.
Welcome back to the Sales Ninja Show podcast, where we cut through the noise, ditch outdated sales tactics, and show you how to close deals with confidence, strategy, and integrity. I'm Jay Lee, founder of Sales Ninja, and as a former banker, former introvert, former pastor, and former high-ticket seven-figure sales ninja, I now help grow and scale businesses without the need for pushy tactics. And that's the heart of the reverse glass selling method, a kingdom-driven approach from the Bible, from 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15, which is built on trust, service, and true connection. My mission is to help 1 million people break the cycle of generational poverty so that you can sell more to give more. Now, imagine just for a moment building a movement that can actually change lives. Imagine storytelling that not only inspires, but mobilizes. Today's guest has done just that. Over the past decade, he's helped launch grassroots movements, viral campaigns, culture-shifting initiatives that amplify good and empower change makers. He's not just a strategist. He's a visionary who leads creatives, marketers, and nonprofit leaders in building brands that drive purpose, alignment, and massive impact. His framework, his strategic inevitability, is helping leaders turn vision into reality. And today, he's here to share it with you. Let's welcome Graham Watt. How's it going, Graham?
Jay, good, man. Sales without faith is dead. That's amazing. I just saw that on the bumper there. That's great.
Amen, brother. Let's go, because I know you only have a little bit of time today. We'll do a part two. Let's talk about faith. Let's dive right in, because, sales without faith is dead. How has faith, made an impact in your life and in your business?
How is it not? I mean, everything we do is driven by that. So, we are a unique agency in the sense that our true north and kind of core mandate as a business is to amplify human flourishing. So, my brother started the agency in his basement 10 years ago. And, a year and a half in, I was working at World Vision at the time, and we were working on some projects together. And we kind of started looking at whether we should just put our heads together and do this as a team. And I said to him, I'll only do this if our emphasis is on amplifying human flourishing. And that's become our mandate from the very beginning. So, it's been a decade now. We've worked with, a couple hundred nonprofit organizations. And a lot of our clients are faith-based nonprofit organizations who are not just amplifying human flourishing, but they're bringing the kingdom to earth as it is in heaven.
Wow. And I didn't know that you founded a national youth movement to leading a social enterprise coffee brand. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, that's a long story. Like, I started as a youth pastor. So same, I'm a former pastor. I created an experiment with a group of teenagers. I went through the book of Matthew for 12 months with a group of teens, and it radically transformed the way that we thought about the world. And it stirred up all kinds of questions and things within these students. And so I created this 8-week-long experiment that was meant to connect their passion for social justice and doing good in the world and putting their faith into action to, particularly the Sermon on the Mount and what we were seeing in the book of Matthew. And that experiment took on a life of its own and became a national movement. So I went from being a youth pastor with a 40-person youth group to all of a sudden leading this national movement of youth and teens. We were engaging about 15,000 students a year and helping them to raise hundreds of thousands dollars that we were sending, to projects internationally, and we were taking teams of students from Canada here to like actually see the work on the ground that was being accomplished and the lives that were being changed. And then that actually led to World Vision. So what we were doing caught the attention of World Vision in Canada, and then we just kind of took our model and transplanted it in, and then we were able to have a much broader impact with way more students.
A youth pastor with 40 local youth to launching a national youth movement of 15,000, 40 to 15,000. That's amazing. I can't even imagine.
It was a wild ride.
That's amazing. How long did you do that for?
It was about 7 years. And then when we merged with World Vision, then kind of, another 3 years past that. And then I jumped in with my brother here to start Anthem Creative.
Okay. So you describe your mission as rising by lifting others. What does that philosophy mean to you personally, and how has it shaped the projects that you choose to pursue?
I mean, it's what I was saying, the amplify human flourishing. Like when we get a client, opportunity that comes in the door, we ask ourselves the question, is partnering with this client going to amplify human flourishing? And when we say we rise by lifting others, it means that our impact as an agency is multiplied through the work that our clients do. So we're not the ones on the front lines, like drilling clean water wells or helping, parents to adopt children, but we are the ones that are telling their story and amplifying their message, allowing them to reach more people. There's a story early on for me that was this like, sacred ground, take off my shoes kind of moment that was the first time where it really clicked for me that what we get to do as an agency in partnering with these organizations is actually kingdom work at the truest level. And so I'll quickly tell the story. We partnered with an adoption agency, and they were changing their name, going through a rebrand. So we walked them through the name change, the rebrand, built a new website, all of their creative, including a brand video. And at the very end of the year, leading up to Christmas, they had no budget for a digital ad campaign, but we basically said, okay, let's take the money you're spending on Christmas cards and sending it to all of your donors and all of your parents and families, and let's use that as a digital ad spend. And then let's take the video, the brand video, the hero video that we've created, and let's run some ads and see if we can drive some demand for intakes of people wanting to consider adoption. I was on Christmas break with my family, and it was December 28th, and I got a call from our ad manager who said, hey, the client shut off the ad campaign on their end, and I don't know why. So I called the executive director of this organization and said, hey, what's going on? We saw the ad campaign is shut down. Is something wrong? And she said, we're getting 15 to 25 phone calls to our on-call line per day right now from families that have seen that ad and are wanting to inquire about adoption. And so I share that story because this was the first moment where I was like, wait a minute, us making a video and running some ads means that parents are feeling God call them to reach out in order to consider bringing a child into their family that doesn't have a family. Like talk about, James 1, caring for widows and orphans. So that was a moment for me where I'm like, I just want to do this. This is what I want to do with this agency. And so we've continued to give ourselves to that. And so that's basically what all of our clients look like.
Oh my gosh, goosebumps. I mean, that in itself, we're good. I'm done with the podcast. That's worth it. Wow. And they had to shut it off because the ads were working so well. They were getting 15 to 25 calls per day.
Well, their staff were on Christmas break, and their on-call line was just blowing up with people that are saying, hey, I saw the video on Facebook and I want to, talk to you about the process of adoption. So yeah, they shut it down because they couldn't handle it during that season.
Okay, so I'm going to do a screen share because I want people to see. It's more caught than taught with the work that you guys are doing. So let me just do a screen share with some of the. I watched your video. I thought it was pretty phenomenal. Let me just do it here. Okay, so here we have Anthem Creative. Let me just put this here. So Graham also specializes in branding, marketing, strategy, culture building, and visionary leadership that inspires action and lasting impact. I love this. The Amplify Good, love, protects, fights, and never stops striving. It celebrates every win, lifts every voice, and builds something better. Move, create. Oops, let me see what happened. Oh, change the world. And then this video, I don't know, how long is it? Like a couple minutes, 2 minutes?
Yeah, it's a bumper. It's a short kind of mashup of a lot of our video content.
Okay, let's show them. Can you tell me if you hear the sound on this?
No, I got no audio here.
It's a great video. This is Anthem. Wow.
Yeah. Thanks,
Phenomenal,
man.
brother.
No, it's cool seeing that. It's just like, over 10 years working with hundreds of clients and seeing some of the highlights and remembering those things. Like, there's Alice Cooper, and you can kind of see some of the breadth of just the kinds of work that we've done, the campaigns that we partnered with, and the projects that we've worked on. I think once a year we try for our team and sort of, trace back our impact, the work that we've done and how it's impacted clients, whether that's addiction recovery to clean water to evangelism. Everything that we do touches so many of those things. We often, actually, my brother's really good at doing this. We'll sometimes hit, seasons that feel like they're a bit of a grind with the client work and with the agency. And we have to constantly remind ourselves that when you look at the work that we're doing, with Alpha and The Chosen and all of these organizations doing kingdom work, it shouldn't be surprising that we feel the attacks of the enemy, that we feel, like we're doing spiritual warfare here through the client work that we're doing. And so, it's just something that we hold very, very closely. Like there's a sense of calling and responsibility and sacredness to the work that we get to do. We don't take it lightly.
My goodness. I mean, these are some of my favorite organizations: World Vision, The Chosen. I didn't even know Alpha was one of them. I see it here now. IJM, International Justice Ministry, Covenant. Wow.
We just launched a campaign with Alpha. It's one of my favorite campaigns we've ever done. But they came to us saying, we've got this idea of, the Made for This campaign. What if every high school in Canada partnered with a local church, and that church committed to praying for the school daily? And so we launched this campaign trying to get every high school in Canada prayed for and partnered up with a local church. And so you can go on the website, you can kind of pick the school, and churches can sign up to, be partnering with that school to pray for them. So it was this idea of like, what would happen if, a whole generation of teens were prayed for intentionally by local churches.
I'm speechless because I know the impact that can and will make. And the work that you're doing is so meaningful and impactful, and the legacy, and oh goodness gracious. Okay, this is incredible. I'm so glad we reconnected. I'm so glad that we are doing this podcast. So this is is there a website here, or the work that you're doing with Alpha?
There should be a link there somewhere to the landing page for that campaign.
Is it?
But
here?
there.
Or is it here on this? Is it next up?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Oh, maybe it's here. Yeah, it's just next up. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, there's a link to a case study there, and so that'll give you a bit more of a case study, and then there's a link to the actual campaign landing page. But yeah, this is a recent one. This is one we launched a couple of months ago, and so it's cool just seeing hundreds of churches sign up to pray for schools, and getting the impact reports and the updates from the Alpha teams is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I just want to note to everyone who's watching this or listening to the podcast, like, the work that they're doing is not just impactful; it's amazing. Like the quality of work. Like, I rarely, this is sad, but maybe it's because I'm desensitized. I rarely get excited or moved by media or by video or by, graphics. But everything I see here is not just tasteful, but the quality and even that video, it kept me on the edge of like, man, I want more. I want to look at this. I want to see more. I want to learn more. Like, it just boom, 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 kept me always on my toes. And I think that's what you guys do really, really well, is to amplify people's story. Because you guys are not on the front lines, but you can help them put their best foot forward in ways that they might not be able to do, especially on social media or online. So I want to commend you and your brother and your team.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. I think this is relevant for this conversation too, though. It matters when it comes to conversion. It matters when it comes to, so whether you're trying to get churches to sign up to pray for a school, or whether you're trying to get someone to, sign up for a program, like storytelling, messaging, branding, visuals, that really matters and has a dramatic impact on whether people kind of choose to say yes and make a decision. So, and funny enough, like when you want to talk about sales for our agency, we don't really sell. We just show.
Yeah.
And we just basically say, well, look, there's a campaign that we did for Alpha. Oh, here's, a documentary series that we did with The Chosen. And here's our campaign with World Vision. And other organizations that are similar to them, they look at that work, they look at the results and the quality, and they go, what does it take to work with you? And a lot of times they come at us and they go, ooh, I don't know if we can afford you. And so that's a really good place to be in, right? Because they see the quality of our work. Then they meet us, they feel our heartbeat and just how sincere and genuine we are. And they go, okay, it's you. We just actually, our director of sales and operations and I had a discovery call with a prospect yesterday.
Yeah.
And by the end of the call, they said, hey, I'm not going to go to RFP. I like you guys. Can we start tomorrow?
Really?
I've seen everything I need to see. We joked, we're like, man, if only every sales call was that easy. But our sales cycles are impacted by that. The ability to just say, have a look at our case studies, take a look at our website, look at our client list. That does the selling for us so that we don't ever have to come in and feel like we're taking, a hard line with sales tactics. We're just basically saying, this is who we are. This is what we do. These are the results that we drive for these kinds of clients. Yeah. And if that's something that you need or that resonates with you, we'd love to have a conversation about what it could look like to work together.
Wow. Oh my gosh, this is incredible. Let me just check here in the comments. Okay, no one's in there. Okay, so I'm just gonna stop screen sharing just for a second. Because I know I wanted to respect your time, and we've actually run out of time. So we'll have to do a part 2. But I do want to ask maybe 1 or 2 questions before we get down to the lightning round. So one that kind of boggled my mind is your partnership with your brother. So, a lot of people, in Joshua 24:15b, it says, as for me and my household, we shall serve the Lord together. But actually doing that is another thing. So how do you find, like, I can't even imagine working with my family or with my own siblings, like, because we would get at each other's throats. We would probably drop kick each other. We'd probably choke each other out. Like, how do you do that? How do you work with your brother on a day-to-day basis for how long?
With fear and trembling. I mean, here's the reality. So a couple just practical, quick hits on that. A lot of people in our lives told us not to do it when we started. I would say a business partnership is the closest thing to a marriage that we've ever experienced. I had a business partnership that went south prior to this as well, so I had some scars from that. So one thing that we did was set up a unanimous shareholder agreement right out of the gate. And both of our wives are also shareholders, so it's not just my brother and I, it's like our families, and our wives as well. And so having that unanimous shareholder agreement really helps us to, we basically laid out all possible scenarios and outcomes and how we're going to behave in those situations before they ever arise, so that there isn't any ambiguity or tension when those happen. We basically just go, we agreed that we would handle this way. And so it's just laid that framework out for us and has been a really good safeguard. The other piece is that, Mark and I, we decided from the very beginning that we were brothers first, business partners second. And so we would never allow business to compromise the relationship and our family. And, Mark and I are very tight. Like, we were missionary kids together. And so we kind of trauma bonded over a lot of things over the years. We shared a bunk bed for almost a decade. So there's a very close-knit bond there. But we also knew that was at risk. Like, we were putting that in jeopardy potentially by partnering together in business. And so, we've been able to do that well for almost a decade. And one of the other things that we do is 2-3 times a year, we do these owners retreats where the two of us will go away and we'll just reconnect. We'll get aligned. We'll pray together. We'll dream together.
Really? You and your brother?
Yeah. Mark and I did that together. And
that's so special.
Like last summer, we rented a houseboat for a couple of days and just, slept under the stars. And those are such important moments for us. We can actually trace back every breakthrough and major decision that Anthem's ever made to those retreats and to those getaways where we're able to just kind of reconnect, get aligned. Our first one that we ever did, I'll never forget this. We were driving out to Jasper, and it was about a 4-hour drive. And on the drive, we were just kind of talking about hopes and dreams for the future. And Mark asked me, like, what do you want for your family? And I just kind of, let it go and was like, here's what I'm dreaming about. Here's my hopes and dreams for my kids and our family, everything from, financially to business to time and faith and all of that. And he was just like moved to tears as I was sharing what my hopes and dreams were for my family. And then I said, same to him, like, what are your hopes and dreams for your family? And he did the same and just kind of shared, and then afterwards we looked at each other and he said to me, he's like, Graham, I can genuinely say that I am as committed to your dreams and hopes for your family and your future as I am to my own. And that mutuality of being able to say, I'm as committed to what you want for yourself and your family as I am to mine. We're fighting for one another constantly with that. So it's got like this alignment and foundation for us that's served us really well. And we also have a no fester policy. And so if something is bothering me or him, we have made a commitment that we won't allow it to fester into something that gets infected and becomes a problem. We deal with it right away. And if I allow something to fester longer than it needs to be, and then I bring it to him and it's a bigger problem, that's my problem. That's my responsibility. I'm accountable for that. So we have these check-ins regularly where we just like lay it out, anything going on, anything you're pissed about, anything under the surface that you need to talk to me about. And we just have that really open communication. So that's made it possible for almost a decade.
I love that. I know in part two we'll dig deeper into that. Let me do a lightning round because I know we've run out of time.
Yeah.
So these are just things, questions to get to know you. What's one creative ritual or habit that keeps you focused or inspired?
Oh, that's a great question. So I can say this for my brother, because he's been our creative director and the creative heart and soul of Anthem for a decade. For him, it's like climbing a tree, which is super weird. But
Really?
whenever he needs a creative breakthrough, yeah, he'll go outside and like climb a tree and stare at the clouds. For me, same thing. It's like, time outside in nature. So whether it's like going on a solo, day ski trip on my own, or just going for a walk and giving myself this space, I find the more freedom I have and time to think, that's where creative breakthrough comes from for me.
This will probably be a two-part because I know you're a man of faith. So favorite Bible verse and or book that helps you to find clarity or motivation?
Colossians would be the immediate answer. Colossians 1. I just don't know that there are any more poignant passages of scripture than chapter 1 of Colossians, especially when Paul talks about, the secret that's been kind of there for generations, Christ in you, the hope of glory. So I think I always go back to Colossians 1 in like shaky moments of doubt or anything. And it's also one of those things that just really drives me forward.
Favorite book?
Oof, probably John, I would say, like from the Gospels, John and Matthew maybe. But yeah, I always find myself coming back to Jesus himself. And like when everything else feels like it's, uncertain and shaky, I always come back to the Gospels. I love Matthew just for that, Sermon on the Mount section. And then John, I love like John 14-16 are just absolutely phenomenal.
And a non-Bible book?
I would say Unreasonable Hospitality and Buy Back Your Time would be the two that have been game changers.
Unreasonable Hospitality?
Yeah, Will Guidara, Unreasonable Hospitality, probably best book I've read in the last 5 years. It's non-faith-based. Okay. Our whole team has read it. It's actually led to a role on our team that is practicing this unreasonable hospitality principle. And then Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell has been foundational in terms of systems and processes on business.
What's one thing that your colleagues or clients would be surprised to learn about you that they may not know about you?
Ooh, how much singing I do. I sing constantly. Just in the car, at home, in the office. That's a sign of like good mental health for me. Like when I'm constantly bursting out in song all the time and just singing things, that means I'm doing really well and life is good. And when I stop doing that, that means that you should check in on me.
Awesome. And that's a good way to close because for Anthem Creative, Graham not only works with designers, filmmakers, and strategists to help organizations build momentum around their mission. When he's in good mental health, he bursts out in song, which is an anthem.
Let's go.
And that worship and that praise to an audience of one is, one of the most beautiful things that we can do. And I love your heart. I love your mission. I love, everything that you and your brother are doing and looking forward to a part 2. What are some last words for people who maybe like are not in that good mental health and they're not finding that song? What are some words of encouragement for them?
To be really tactical, for me, the things that have made a big difference in recent years on managing, I find as I age, I'm dealing with different challenges, especially living in Northern Canada here in Alberta. Winters are becoming more difficult for me from a mental health perspective. So I have found diet, exercise, and like intentional connection with friends has been an absolute like must for me. And so other than spiritual disciplines and practices, like those are things that practically, so like getting, a certain number of steps in every day and, tracking what I eat, making sure that I'm eating really well. and then exercising properly. Like those have been real unlocks for me in every aspect of life, but also for mental health, productivity, parenting, like you name it. Those have been huge.
Amazing. So there you have it, guys. Check out Graham at anthemcreative.ca. And if you want to connect with him on LinkedIn, give him a shout out. Connect with him on linkedin.com, IN/Watt-Graham. And want to thank you so much for your time today in this brief and amazing podcast interview. Looking forward to part 2 because we ran out of time. And if you guys are looking to sell more, to give more, to grow and scale your impact and your income, feel free to DM me and I will get on a free ninja audit call to help you find $10,000 to $100,000 a month that you're missing and leaving money on the table. So that's it for now, guys. And we had one last minute. Would you like to give me an interview? Okay, we'll have to connect, Ikra. So thank you for reaching out to me. I just caught that just now. And Graham, looking forward to talking about the amazing work that you're going to continue to be doing with all these organizations. So for now, we're here to help you to sell more, to give more. And thank you guys for tuning into the Sales Ninja Show podcast. And Graham, we'll talk soon. Okay, take care for now.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Jay.
Okay, bye.
Massive.